zones. We used beacon bandwidth, Bluetooth low I suppose energy devices. So the whole concept was that the roundabout itself was broken into zones. As the cyclist approached, based on sensors and beacon technology, he was detected. Various policies were alerted, and hence an individual alert was raised depending on their location at the roundabout, etc. So this is one aspect. It worked very well. They finalised the research in this a few months ago, and it was received very well on a local basis, etc. And tested in, I suppose, real environments. So that's kind of one example. Again, we learned that we introduced a lot of services there around the tag reading service, location, position, alert, logging type services. These are the various technologies we built on and incorporated into this kind of system, end user safer cycling system alert. Just carrying on from the cycling concept or focus, we also looked at this other project called City Sense. This was very much a collaboration between PCH, Tyndall, TSSG, the National College of Art, Design and Vodafone Ireland. Here we focused on the Dublin area. We focused on using cyclists, couriers, students, and using their bikes and creating a sensor product and a corresponding supporting hardware to actually create a component to install on the bikes. Off they go around Dublin City. They track various different environmental aspects such as the carbon monoxide, smoke particles, carbon dioxide temperature. Again, it was to kind of gauge, I suppose, what was happening from an environmental aspect, a CO2 level, etc., within the city, and just to see and to make use of the cyclists and to see what kind of big data, what kind of usage we can leverage there. So the output of that was a city dashboard, which mapped the cyclists as they travelled around, mapped the actual targeted readings that were obtained. Again, we're in the big data era. All this information is very, very valuable and can be leveraged. It can identify various environmental pollution, high priority areas, various traffic congestion, again based on the CO2 levels at various different points in the city, and can be leveraged for other services such as urban planning and policy developments. So quite a lot of data from something very simple, a very simple concept, but again, the big data that turns out of it and what exactly services you can actually leverage from such a small-ish project like this. Okay, that's just one or two. Again, we focus on very much a lot of other areas in TSSG. We focus on advanced driver assistance systems. We focus on telematics area, in-car driver behavioural aspects, very much from the ICT point of view. As you know, there's a lot of I suppose advancements in the area with regards to Internet of Things, big data, machine learning, etc. So it's how this is going to impact in the transport area and be leveraged from here on in. There's a lot of, I suppose, focus on it now more so than ever. Some main key areas that are active from an EU perspective appear quite regularly in the EU programmes for 2016-27 are the autonomous vehicles. Again, huge activity on this across the market globally. All the OEMs are actually in competition with each other to actually push to get to market on this. It's estimated, some estimate it will be here by 2025, we'll have driverless cars in use. Uber plans to have driverless cars by 2013. Ford COO expects to have fully autonomous cars by 2020. So a little bit of variation there on the actual time frame for when this will impact, but it is on their roadmap, their strategy. It is there, and it is ongoing research in this area to drive this out. Again, advanced driver assistance systems, they've been around for a long time, but again, with the new technologies that are out there, looking to reinvest, relook at them to see what additional aspects, especially with the cloud infrastructure, with big data, the Internet of Things, all the sensors, what other different aspects can come into play with such ADAS systems. Again, a huge emphasis or focus on the human-machine interfaces and analysing, the in-vehicle driver, monitoring their health, monitoring their behavioural aspects in the car. So that's a very much core topical area as well that's come up in play at an EU level in the H2020 Horizon programmes. Mobility as a service. Again, this is kind of a new concept idea that's very much a hot topic at the minute. It's a kind of a new transport model concept that's in play. It very much focuses on the way, similar to the way you have your mobile app and you have various dedicated, I suppose, packages that you subscribe to for your mobile uses. They're adopting this to the transport area, and they're looking to see if you have a transport package. The multimodal kind of aspects that you use, you subscribe to a dedicated transport package that can be used cross-border, multimodal transport. You have a mobility operator. The service providers provide all these services across the board. So again, it's going more away from the private car type focus, more so towards, let's just say, the Uber or the next generation Uber type of focus in this transport area. So very, very much a hot topic at the minute. There was a Mobility as a Service Alliance created in early October at EU level. A lot of the member states and I suppose focused transport groups are getting involved in this. It is within the next EU call topic in 2017 or 2016-17. So very much on the, I suppose the roadmap of research at the minute. Another one from a more logistics transport side of things is the physical intranet. Again, they're looking at the physical objects, how they're actually moved, stored, realised, how they're actually across the board for greater efficiency and sustainability. From my recollection, I think there's a dedicated call targeting this in January 2017 at Horizon 2020 level. Okay, so just to delve into a little bit more about the advanced driver assistance systems. As I said, new technologies, reinvesting, looking towards the big data, the machine learning, the sensors side of things. The number of vehicles that are in existence, it's greater than 275 million at EU member states level. It's increasing. Hence, the knock-on impact, the number of advanced driver assistance systems is expected to grow to 7.2 billion euros estimate financially by 2020. Again, there is big advancements or a big push in the 5G area at EU level, and this will have a knock-on impact again for the automated vehicle area, your always connected car. This opens up the doors to huge services, huge potential with regards to your car. Your car could be an open services platform, right, for example, where it leverages a huge impact both socially, but I suppose economically, environmentally, and again from a safety aspect. Okay, so just to give you a little bit more, as I said, they're focusing more on the in-vehicle driver. They're looking at monitoring them. You're talking about sensors built into the steering wheel, wearable sensors, sensors in the seat belt, sensors in your seat. And all the data that comes from that, and what's actually how that can be utilised and fed into maybe your in-car ADAS, or again alerted to maybe a traffic control centre for more advanced kind of reactive response time or similar. Again, this opens up a whole area regards security and privacy. What exactly needs to be kept in-house? What's your personal data, the encryption around that, etc. A huge other research area there that corresponds to this big data / ADAS progress or aspect there. Again, with these such superior infotainment systems, ADAS systems, people expect them to be standard. They expect the cost to be lower, and keeping the costs lower, keeping sensor costs lower, it's a huge aspect too that's being driven to actually make these kind of features standard in future cars. As I said before, data-driven services, huge area of potential in the coming years if this goes along this route. Car manufacturers, for example, can offer kind of remote diagnostic services. Again, they can track your car, track its performance, track if there's any issue with it. Huge potential there, even with regards servicing your car, when it needs to be serviced, when they need to come in, if parts need to be repaired, etc. It can all be a lot more, I suppose, in time, more real time without delays. Insurance providers, again, the telematics data that can be fed from the driver behaviour, the HMI aspect, this can be leveraged by the financial insurance providers. Again, they have details on how if of course you opt into it, if it's a suitable situation for you. They can track your data. Okay, he's a good driver, we'll give him a lower insurance premium. Okay, he's not so good, goes the opposite way. Again, there's benefits and pluses to such ADAS system. It does, eventually, it can monitor the in-car driver, it can enhance safety, reduce accidents, you get pre-notification of accidents up the road or collision detections, etc. It can support a low-carbon society through, I suppose, enhanced traffic optimization. You can get alerts of collisions up above. Again, you can divert other directions to prevent being backlogged within that. Again, this all leverages on, I suppose, the acceptability and usability of such ADAS systems. This is a huge other research area that the Commission are actually targeting in parallel to putting money into research, I suppose, opportunities in the ADAS system. So it's very much at their core that what is being produced needs to be acceptable, it needs to be usable from the end user, because this has obviously a knock-on impact from a market side. Again, just to summarise, there is a lot of activity ongoing in the EU Horizon 2020 work programme from the Commission side. There is calls out at the minute for Mobility for Growth call. That covers aviation, urban mobility, water, road, etc. There's an automated road transport call out. That's more focused on, I suppose, the infrastructure side of things. There is also SME Fast Track to Innovation, specifically for the transport area. This is for smaller companies to focus on and leverage. There's actually info days on this around the end of this week. The Fast Track to Innovation, there's one around the end of November, specifically for the transport area, if it's of interest to SMEs. So again, coming from an institute, Waterford Institute of Technology, I would encourage, I suppose, industry and SMEs to leverage the research that's ongoing there, to actually engage with the research people and to see what other kind of potential or products or outputs from research that we can transfer to industry. I suppose to look towards your roadmap, to look towards your strategy, to see what is there. There's huge potential to get involved, huge potential to become part of EU consortiums. Even on the national level, there's huge, there's various different strands that can be leveraged to fund such follow-on, I suppose, research activities that can be used to the benefit of industry. I included just there some links with regards to the work programme, just in case anyone needs to reference it or anything. So just from TSSG point of view, we have, I'm not going to go through them, we have a lot of expertise with regards cloud, sensors, real-time communications, ADAS. We have a lot of interest, etc., in the telematics area, ADAS, or excuse me, mobility as a service, and the physical internet area. So that's it. I think my time is up. So thank you very much. Any questions, do touch base with me. We're always happy to engage anyway. Thank you.